Their room was barely big enough for the metal bunk bed that was pushed against the wall, but it was bright and clean. Mel yanked off her painful boots and peeled away her filthy, bloody socks. Those poor toes, Aunt Cassie said, looking at Mel's bubbling blisters. Good thing my feet are numb, Mel said with a painful laugh. Tough girl, Cassie said. Mel slipped on her red flip-flops and peered out the window. In the distance was a jagged row of mountains. The slopes were still white with snow. It never melted up there, even in the summer. Aunt Cassie came up behind her. That's Heaven's Peak, she said, wrapping her arm around Mel. I know, Mel said. Mom had told her all about it. She could almost imagine that it was Mom standing there with her. Suddenly, Mel felt the cracking apart pain in her heart. She felt the flood of tears coming. She wiggled out under Cassie's arm. Be right back, Mel said. I need to go to the outhouse. She rushed downstairs and went outside. Excuse me. She found a chair in the corner of the big front porch. She just needed to be by herself for a few minutes to pull herself together. But seconds later, 3 noisy and sweaty men collapsed down in the chairs right next to her. Woo! Exclaimed a man with a bushy mustache. That hack was killer. I think my feet are gonna fall off, said a skinny man with no hair. You won't be sorry you came here, said the mustache man. Not after tonight. Mel bent down and scratched a mosquito bite. I don't get it, said the third man. How do they get the grizzlies to come every night? Mel froze. She eyed the men. I told you, the mustache man said. They dump all the leftovers into the big ditch. It's out back, down the hill. And every night, the grizzlies come out. You can stand right on the back porch and watch them. Sounds like a good show, said the no-hair man. Wait until you see, the mustache man gushed. If we're lucky, we'll see a fight. Last time I was here, there were 2 huge beasts, and they were fighting over something, I don't know, a ham bone, I think, and they just started going at it. Wham! Wham! The man smashed his fist into the open hand. The bigger one was clobbering the little guy. I thought it was going to rip off its head. His friends whooped and slapped their legs. Mel fumed. She wanted to tell the men how disgusting it was to want to watch grizzlies fight over a bone. But she didn't have the guts. She got up and ran inside. She found Steve and Cassie standing in the lobby, looking worried. There you are, Cassie called to her. Mel gushed to them, nearly knocking over the rickety table stacked with old magazines. You're right, she said breathlessly, looking at Steve. Something terrible is happening here. She swallowed hard. They're feeding grizzlies garbage. What? Aunt Cassie said. Mel filled them in on what the men had said. Then she looked around at the people in the lobby. Was that why they all hiked 8 miles to get there? For the grizzly show? Steve looked crushed. Those were the rumors I had heard, he said. His gentle eyes were suddenly flashing with anger and disgust. I was hoping it was just some crazy story. Cassie was fuming too. We have to do something to stop this, she said. Suddenly, Mel had an idea. You can do something, she said to Cassie. She grabbed a magazine from the stack on the table. She held it up. You can write an article. Millions of people read Aunt Cassie's articles. Last year, she wrote about a company that was dumping dangerous chemicals into the river in Montana. After the story came out, the president of the company was arrested. Now he was in jail. "That's right, Cassie," Steve said. "If more people knew what was happening in Glacier, things could change." Cassie seemed to disappear into her thoughts. Her eyes grew steely. "All right," Cassie said finally. "I'll do it, but I need help." "I'll share my research," Steve said. "And I'll do whatever you need me to do," Mel said. "Good," Cassie said. "Right now, we're going to learn as much as we can about what's happening here and how they're getting away with it. We'll hike back tomorrow morning and we'll start writing. I'll call some editors and hopefully we can get this story out quickly." Mel's heart was pounding. Cassie would make sure the whole world found out the truth about Glacier, and then things would have to change. Mel just hoped it wasn't too late.